Okay, it says we're live again, but I think it's linking to the wrong video that I had set up
Yeah,
for
it's okay.
this.
Yep. So I just got a YouTube saying watch live now, Virtuous Unicorns, and it's on a different
Mm,
link.
okay. Well, shall we continue on that one or
Sure. Of course.
Okay. Well, hopefully people will find us over there then. So, maybe if I could send something out on there, but so we are live somehow on one of these videos. I will correct it later and try to figure it out, but welcome everyone, whoever might have found us on this different video. I'm Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns, and today we're joined with Katie, and we're going to be talking about understanding the Bible and how it has changed our lives. This is episode 2, where we want to talk about the salt of the earth.
Hi, everyone. So glad to be here with you.
Hopefully they find us.
Yep,
It's my error.
I'm just gonna send this link to everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you are welcome.
Okay. Let me see if I can get all these other screens closed out now. Okay. All right. So like I said today, we are going to be doing episode 2 of the Understanding the Bible about the salt of the earth. Last week we covered the Lord's Prayer, which is Matthew chapter 5, and how I didn't really have an understanding of the Lord's Prayer at all. I remember saying it as a child, and it never kind of resonated with me. And it wasn't until the decodes of Charlie that I started having an understanding of the Bible and how just even the Lord's Prayer spoke to us. And the part about the salt of the earth, that didn't come up until I was watching the Chosen series. And the part of that really spoke to us too, or at least my mom and I, when I say us. And that part, which I'm going to share this video here too, it's just that we truly are the salt of the earth. And most people have no idea what that means. And even in this clip here, you'll see where people might mistake it that we're supposed to salt the earth. And, that's leading to its destruction. And that is not what salt means or what Jesus or God even talked about. I know, Katie, that you have watching the Chosen series as well too. It was on season 2, episode 8. Do you recall this one off the top of your?
I do. And I remember the first time I watched it, I was like blown away by it. And I watched on the app. So lucky for me, I could rewind it. And so I had to rewind it. And of course, this is also me, typical me. I had to take some notes on it. And when it was so fun to be able to watch it through The Chosen, because like growing up, I read the Bible, I heard the Bible through, my church. But there is something different when you are watching The Chosen because when you watch it, it's like you've heard it before, but now you're seeing it with a new set of eyes, which means that you're understanding it completely different in how you had understood it before. And
Mhm.
so when you say, yeah, we're salting the earth, and when Matthew said that, I was like, I can't believe I fell for that one.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yes, but then seeing it on The Chosen, then I knew, oh my gosh, this totally does not mean that. This has so much more deeper meaning. And of course, with everything that I've come to learn, it's all within us. The whole Bible is within us. And that was the missing piece that I had prior to watching The Chosen.
Yes, I mean it truly is within us. And even I was at the part listening to Charlie, and this is just episode 1 of the Bible Decode, where he talks about the university. The university is within us, and you don't graduate to higher learning until you cross the crucifixion, and you go up into above. And everything, all the words that they have taught us and, gave us all these different meanings about it. I don't know. It's like they're throwing it in our face or something of what these words really mean. Oh, you have to go to university. University is within you, and you
Mhm.
don't graduate till you make it to the higher learning.
Mhm.
I'm always just so I don't know, dumbfounded, or I don't even know the word for it, but yeah, like when it's that way, and you're like, well, they lied to us again, didn't
They
they?
sure did. They sure did. Well, and Sarah, the thing is now when I talk about this stuff, um, I tell people, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from you, but I'm going to add things to what you already know.
Right.
Because, like I said, I've heard these before. I've heard, because I read the Bible myself and I, participated in weekly mass. So I got to
Hmm.
hear those readings. But like when I found Charlie, yeah, no, he didn't take, well, I mean, he exposes the lies, which God already exposed for me. So I already knew that. But what he did is he added to what I already knew. And that is,
Hmm.
is that everything is within you. Everything.
Yes.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah,
It's not what is happening to you, it is what is happening for you.
exactly. Exactly.
And I mean, it's just, they're like little miracles every single day. And a lot of people focus on all the negativity stuff too, of like, oh, this happened to me, it would happen to me, and you're just you need to really change your mindset. And everybody goes through things, and life is hard. I mean, this journey is not for everyone. It is hard. If it was for it is for everyone. But if it was easy, then everyone would have already done it and become masters or bodhisattva, and they're all back here just helping us. This is the one journey, the one story, and it's extremely hard to do. And that's why many people, they hear the call, but they still don't even turn to answer the call.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And it is very hard because I'm just like, look at you, if I just look at my family and they've got me shining the light, sharing the truth, doing the work the best that I can, and they still struggle.
Mhm.
And it's a part of that. You just need to let go. And
Yeah.
letting go is very hard. But letting go is taking that leap of faith, which
Hmm.
also can be very hard. And a lot of people say, well, I have faith. I mean, like, yes, but there's more.
Right.
There is more. Yes. Yeah.
There is so much more. And I've even had people tell me that, well, I'm already so old now, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna have to do it in the next lifetime. But the point of it is, why do you want to take the chance on that you would forget, or that you may not be born into a family that allows that or has those teachings? You
Mhm.
always want to try to strive for the best that you can possibly do while you're here, while you have the understanding of everything that has been gifted to you during this lifetime.
Oh my gosh, Sarah. You might not know this, but
Mm.
I did not sleep last night because I felt called to write a post. And so, very early this rising, I wrote a post about reincarnation. And
Mm.
you just like one of the most important things is don't give up. Don't limit yourself to saying, well, I'm 72 years old. I don't have much life left, probably. Probably. I mean, we don't
Hmm.
know when our last day is.
No.
But the thing is that what you accomplish here on earth during this lifetime, what you awaken to, you will take that with you to your next life. So if you hear the call and you choose to answer it, but you don't do all of the work, then I wouldn't recommend it, but it's your choice. You have free will. I wouldn't recommend it. I would take every day, every moment that I possibly can to further my knowledge, to further the work, so that in this lifetime I go as far as I can, so that in the next lifetime I can take everything that I've accomplished, everything that I've learned, and I take it with me. Because, and I hope this doesn't sound egotistical, but I love God so much. I just want to be with him. And I want to be with him as fast as I can. So that's just coming from me. But I do know that whatever you
Mhm.
learn, whatever you accomplish in this lifetime, you will be gifted that in your next round when you get reincarnated. So,
Absolutely. And I agree with the same thing too. It it's also too like it I don't want to say it depends because I do believe that you are gifted with that in your reincarnation, but it's also it depends on what do you do with that knowledge here? Are you
hmm
now that you know better, are you doing better?
right.
Or are you knowing better but still sinning? And we covered this last episode, but sinning doesn't just mean that I'm um sinning just means that you're taking negative thoughts, you're taking negative actions. They can be anything. You need to just start having virtuous thoughts. And we are the Lamb of God, and the lambs are their thoughts from God or information coming from God. And that's what you need to be counting. You need to be building your ark, acts of random kindness every day. Are you taking this life that God has given you and doing the best that you possibly can with it?
hmm
And even like people that are still eating the standard American diet or even the standard world diet now, but are they still good people? Are they still trying very hard in life and they just haven't been awoken to a new way of life? Those kinds of things. And so I really think that no matter what level you're at, if you are being virtuous and you are really trying hard to make this world a better place for everyone, then I believe you do get to reincarnate and you come back at a certain level. You don't fall all the way back down your trust again into hell or into your ankles or uncles. And, you're not going to be walking around in the desert for 40 days, 40 nights with nothing. You will have a path, you will have a light that you can follow. And also, too, is that if you are doing the work and God has a purpose for you still, even if you're 76 years old or 86 years old, we're meant to live a lot longer than what we really are living. So, I mean, if you can, you just never know what God has in store for you. And the best that you can do is right now, right here at this moment, start having gratitude and start just living your life purely and living through God.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, I love it. So I don't know if this is a good time in the show or if I should do this later, but uh,
Anytime's a good time. If it
it's
comes, let it come out. That's the way I
okay.
say
Well, it is
it.
coming now. So sit back, get your paper and your pencils because we're going to talk about yourself. And um, today we're talking about how you are the salt of the earth. And when you think about yourself, think if you write the word yourself on your piece of paper, I want you to see, you break up that word and you're going to see your dash cell, cell dash ph. That's yourself.
That's wow.
Yes. So that's yourself. That's how we're going to spell yourself from now on. And what is pH? For those of you who don't know, that's your balance. That's when you're in balance of like if you're balancing your alkaline and acidity. Okay, you want to be in balance.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's what you want to do with your cell. And every cell needs to be that way. And every cell in every system in your body, with the exception of your stomach acid, is alkaline. And so when Sarah was sharing about the thoughts that you take matter, and if you're going to think negative, that affects yourself because thought comes from your spleen, which is a part of the lymphatic system, which has the lymph waters. And if you know anything about the lymphatic system and the lymph waters, they have a lot of sodium in them. And so when you think negative, and that those waters go throughout your whole body. And so if you take a negative thought, then every cell in your body will be affected by that negative thought. And so you want to be in balance. And in order to do that, there's a couple of things that I would recommend doing. And there's a couple of things I would recommend not doing. And so I would recommend, take the positive thoughts, do everything you can to be in a higher vibration. And that means like mentally, physically, your emotions, try to be joyful and calm, and try to avoid any kind of violent acts or stress. And this includes like the music that you're listening to, the news, or the movies that you watch. And then also, like with yourself, you have to think about what you're eating, and overeating or having that bloated feeling that will have a negative effect on yourself. And you also don't want to consume caffeine, because that actually blocks, is it ATP, or yeah, I think it's ATP, but it blocks things that your body needs in order to be in balance, that pH. And processed foods. I mean, it's just the best things to do is things that raise your vibration, which is meditation, yoga, deep belly breath breathing, eating living foods like your fruits and your vegetables. As best as possible, try to keep them raw. You know, being in that state of gratitude. I know Sarah's talked about that before. And doing random acts of kindness, building that art, So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That, as Dave says, brilliant, Katie, and that is brilliant.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
grounding is so important too. Like, take your shoes off and go outside. Walk in the dirt, get your toes dirty. I mean, it just, yeah, it's cold at first, but it feels good after. And hug your trees. I mean, doing the Lord's Prayer or your meditation amongst an old grove of trees, you have no idea how powerful that is. You talk about getting high, that is like, that's like euphoric almost. And you're literally just with nature, you're connecting with nature, you're in meditation with God. And I mean, it brings tears to my eyes just even right now of how good it feels. And that's what truly getting high is when you are getting high with God.
yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is brilliant.
oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, that came to me yesterday, and I'm not going to take full credit. I was watching one of Kelly Marie Kerr. I'll put her name on, but she has a YouTube channel. And Matt and I'm trying to teach Matt all about how our systems work in our body. And so we were watching that, and I had the subtitles on while we were watching, and I saw her have it written that way. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking that. That is great. So thank you to Kelly Marie for doing that.
That's perfect. Another way that I find, and that also helps too, like if you are explaining anything about your bodies, is to think of your body as it's like a factory. And if all the workers are leaving all their departments, so the department that's responsible for building your collagen, for cleaning your kidneys, for getting the mucus out of your brain. If all of those workers are constantly being called down to your stomach and your intestinal area to do your digestion, then those departments then are going to lack. You're not going to get your collagen built that day. You're not going to get the mucus removed from your mind and your brain and get rid of the brain fog. You're not going to, have your bones strengthened or your blood rebuilt that night. Now, when they get done from helping the digestive area put away all their stuff from their docks, like unloading the trucks per se, then they can now return back to their departments and try to help. But if they don't have time then, or they don't have the energy to get back and start rebuilding everything, then those departments are now, falling behind, or their workers are getting tired and they don't want to do it. So that's always been another way that has really worked with my mindset too, of learning about how our bodies work. And then after that, it kind of goes hand in hand, you start with your kidneys and work your way up. But, our food is so very important, especially when you're in the beginning process of this journey of cleaning your body up. You're literally cleaning your temple up and getting rid of the waste out of it. You're getting rid of all that matter, because we don't want anything to matter to us. It just doesn't matter. Get it out. And then once you do that, your body becomes more light so that it can rise now. And you can start hearing God's voice more clearly. You can start focusing better. You don't have the brain fog. And food is just, the fruit is the lightest thing that we can possibly eat for our body to digest it. And then our body can go in and start doing what it needs to do to start making repairs and building and doing all kinds of stuff. And then through that, your eyes then can be like, the cloudiness can be removed from your eyes. You can start seeing again. You now have real eyes to see and ears to hear. And then you go from understanding to innerstanding. And then it starts to resonate. And then you start to see God's miracles. And then you start to attract those miracles, and you attract that frequency and that energy. And next thing you know, God's miracles are happening for you.
Yeah.
And it happens fast. Once you commit to it, a whole nother world opens, and it's been hidden from you your whole entire life. And then next thing you know, the blinders are off and you can start seeing everything.
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
It is so true. And even Dave is like, yes, because that is the truth, it is. Sometimes it's like, you feel like, oh, nothing's really happening. And then it's like, oh, here it comes. And then it's like drip, drip, gush.
Hmm.
And it's everywhere. And that's something like my family has had to get used to, is that there's not a moment where I'm not talking about God, because God is everywhere and I can see things and I hear things. And like, we'll be in the car and Matt will have the radio on, and all of a sudden it's like I have to say something. I've had to bite my tongue a couple of times, because you don't want to drive them nuts. But I'm
Right.
like, do you not see that God is everywhere and the same story is being told to us all the
Hmm.
time, all the time? I love how you said, matter. Nothing matters. I'm going to share something really quick.
Yeah.
This is funny because, again, I did not sleep last night because my little pineal gland was just bouncing away. It had all these things. And I'm going to write a post today on Facebook about this. But I grew up in the 80s, and I don't know where the Eggo waffles came from. I don't know if that was like the 90s or, in the 2000s, whatever. But they always said Eggo my Lego, or Eggo, let go of my ego, something like that.
I remember that.
Okay, you remember
Lego
it?
my ego, something like that. Yeah. I think it
Yeah.
was in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so when you look at ego, it's EGGO, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, so you need to, if you look at the word, then if you take out a G, it says ego. So maybe that commercial is saying, let go of my ego, because when we work with our ego, that's really not our best self at all. And it's not in alignment with God. But
Hmm.
at the same time, when you say let go my ego, you have the word egg, EGGG. Oh, by the way, ego means edging out God, edging out God. And so when you're in your ego, you're kind of edging them out, you're pushing them away. So that's why you really want to, ego doesn't matter. Like Lego your ego, because it's not godly. Well, then you have the egg. And you need to let that go too. Ego my egg, because egg What did I say egg is? Well, first of all, we know that eggs are not good for you and they bring about death. And God is the God of the living, not of the dead. And therefore, you don't want to eat your egg. So you need to Lego your egg, Lego, because it's not going to bring you life and it's not going to connect you to God. And I'm trying to remember, I had an acronym for like for egg, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so I think that that is funny that you mentioned matter, and that was my aha moment this morning when I was meditating.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is, and as soon as you started to say it, it's, we're on the same level. Like I knew you were going with ego. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
you were saying let go my ego, it's like let go of my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Dave was saying that that was from the 70s or what, but I was like, ego in the 70s. I only remember it in the 90s. And I do remember eating them and I remember enjoying them.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so I did take notes. Egg is erasing God for good.
Mm.
Because, okay, and so egg is erasing God for good. Why? Because death begets death. And
Mm.
and that's completely different. And if you continue to eat that, you fall further and further away because you just always you put death first instead of life. And God is the gift. The God is the God of the living. So that's how I came to
Wow.
that. Anyway.
That's really cool. That's really neat. But see how you now have the real eyes and the ears to hear, and
Mhm.
you can pick up on these things now. I mean, watching TV is never the same now that you know. Every time I watch TV now, I'm like, mm-hmm, yep.
Yes.
We got it. Well, I wanted to share the part here. I have The Chosen. This is The Chosen series, episode or season 2, episode 8. This is where Matthew and Jesus are talking. This is before he gives the Sermon on the Mount. And I think that this is a really good leadway into where we talk about the salt of the earth. So I'm going to go ahead and play this now.
Sorry to interrupt, Sarah, but there is no sound.
Okay, sorry. Again, probably something I don't know what I'm doing. Can you hear it now?
Um, Sorry to interrupt, Sarah, but there is no. I still cannot hear it.
Mm, what about now?
Dave says no.
No, dang it. I am really terrible at this, apparently. All right, let's try one more time. I was thinking maybe it's because I had my headphones on.
Logistical. Right now, your opening line
I can
is
hear it.
salt
Okay.
of the earth.
Should I start it again
And
or just let
moving,
it go?
I'd
particularly
start it again.
if the crowd is larger than we expect.
Sorry, Dave.
Any sections that concern you,
Okay, here we go.
give me your honest opinion. I know I don't have to say that, but the whole truth. You know I won't be offended. It's well, very striking, but
if I do the math in terms of good news and bad, it seems like there's not a lot of good news. Anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery. Doesn't that make everyone an adulterer? If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. Wouldn't that lead to an entire population of people walking around with only one eye? Oh, and this one. If anyone were to sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. Trees that bear bad fruit being cut down and thrown into the fire. The gate is narrow and hard that leads to life. Depart from me, I never knew you. Do you realize how heavily laden your sermon is with these kinds of ominous pronouncements? I haven't even named half of them.
It's a manifesto, Matthew. I'm not here to be sentimental and soothing. I'm here to start a revolution.
Well, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That isn't exactly.
He said revolution, not revolt. I'm talking about a radical shift. Did you think I was just going to come here and say, hey, everyone, just keep doing what you've been doing for the last 1,000 years. It's been going so great.
Also, there's the beginning and the end.
What about the beginning?
My concern about the beginning is more logistical. Right now, your opening line is, you are the salt of the earth. I'm worried, particularly if it is windy, or if the crowd is larger than we expect, that people near the back will hear, salt the earth, and it will immediately call to mind a negative connotation.
The Punic Wars?
Yes. When Rome destroyed Carthage, they sowed the city with salt to make it barren, and to curse anyone who would rebuild upon it.
I share your concern about the opening line, but for different reasons. I think the sermon needs some sort of introduction, an invitation into what, as you have rightly pointed out, will be a complex and at times challenging set of teachings.
What does you are the salt of the earth even mean? I'm not good at metaphor.
Salt preserves meat from corruption. It slows its decay. I want my followers to be a people who hold back the evil of the world. Salt also enhances the flavor of things. I want my followers to renew the world and be part of its redemption. Salt can also be mixed with honey and rubbed on the skin for maladies. I want my people to participate in the healing of the world, not its destruction.
Then why not just say that?
Come on, Matthew. Allow me a little poetry, huh? Not everyone is like you. Some people like a little flavor. Read the songs of David or Solomon. I'm not going nearly as far with metaphor as Solomon.
I'm reading him next.
Good luck. He's probably... I told you. These things will make sense to some, but not to others. I don't want passive followers. Those who are truly committed will peer deeply into it, looking for truth. I do agree with you. We shouldn't begin with salt. You make a valid point. Good work.
Wow. Is he not the best portrayal of Jesus ever?
Oh gosh. Yes. 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 Oh, I just love him. And I'm so glad that he did Jesus Revolution as well. I mean, that was fantastic.
It was. Yeah, so salt, it preserves meat from corruption. It slows its decay. So we are here to be the salt of the earth. We want to preserve and we want to slow the decay of the earth. We want to change it. And he says, I want my followers to be people who hold back the evil over the world. That's what we're here for. We are to be the light. We're the light of the world. We are here to hold all of this back. And salt also enhances flavors. To me, that means that we all bring a different frequency, a different aspect to everything. And that's why every one of us is important to this journey that we're all on. And we connect with people differently. I may connect with Katie well, but I may not connect with another person well. But then Katie might connect with that person well. So that's where we all bring our different flavors so that we can all work towards the same one true story. I want my followers to renew the world and be part of its redemption. That's why we're here to help bring the light of this world. And salt can also be mixed with honey and rubbed on the skin for maladies. I want my people to participate in the healing of the world, not the destruction. So we're here to bring the healing to this world, and we are to help each other along the way.
You know, it's so interesting is that when he's talking about renewing the world and healing the world, and we've had all these religions for centuries, and yet look at our world. There's still fighting, there's still separation, there's wars, there's hatred, there's poverty, there's, you know, sickness, there's death, there's all this negative things that are going on. And yet, I don't know about you guys, but I've been said that I'm in a cult or that I have it all wrong. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, step back. Let's look at this from a higher perspective, from a different perspective. If we've had all these religions in these churches and people are going to mass every week, why isn't the world better? And I'm offering you something different that will bring true peace within you. And it focuses on be vibrating higher, which is positive. And when we do, and I'm also talking about no more killing. We're not going to kill animals and we're not going to kill each other. And we're going to be kind with our words and our actions and everything that we do. So this is the renewing of the earth. This is healing the earth. This, or the, you know, this is it. Jesus is teaching us this over and over again, and we've missed the mark. And now so many of us have been called. And like Jesus said in this clip right here, he doesn't want passive followers. He wants those who are deeply into it and who are searching for the truth. And when he said those words, when I just heard them again this morning or just now, who is he describing? He's describing each one of us here who love God, who have answered the call, and who are searching for the truth, and now doing our best to teach it, even when it's hard, because this is what we want. We want it for ourselves, we want it for our children, we want it for our parents, we want it for our friends, and we want it for all the animals. We want it for the whole earth. And that's why we're here, and that's why I love talking about this with anyone who's willing to listen. And I'm so grateful to be doing this with you, Sarah, and Dave. Thank you so much for being here as well. But this is important work, and this is why we do this. And this is why we need to learn the teachings of Jesus and share it with others. We're not taking anything away. We're just adding to it so that this can come to fruition where we have that new earth and we're healing the earth. And just like Michael Jackson sang, let's heal the world. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. Anyway.
It's so true. And I was actually going to bring up Michael Jackson too, right before you did. It's when you said that people don't want to hear every time you talk about God, they feel you're taking them out of their comfort zone. They are comforted in that. And just like Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror, when you truly get in touch with God, you're asking people to look in the mirror and to really start evaluating yourself, because as we discussed earlier, everything is within. It is you. Everything is you. It's not out there. And they taught us so much that God is out there. God is in here. And then they bring up things like, the devil or something like that. It's another entity that you can blame on something that's out there. Everything is within. Everything is within. And so when you're bringing up God and you're bringing up these subjects, a lot of people will shy away from them because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to know better. So then that way the pressure is on them to do better. Because once you do know better, it's hard not, or once you do know better, it's hard not to do better. And like Dave said too, get used to different. I mean, once your eyes are open, it's almost forced to be different. So a lot of people will put their blinders on, they will put their headphones in. And it just reminds me all of a sudden too, I just thought of those Apple Vision goggles or something like that people are starting to wear now.
Oh, yes, yes.
Are you kidding me? Like, could that not be more of a sign of like, oh, now let's actually put blinders on? And you already have headphones in. You're literally shutting off from the world at that point. And I fear that if like that really happens and that takes over, I mean, that's going to be a sure way that God's really going to be pushed out of your life, because you are not going to be on the same frequency to be open to those vibrations that are coming in from God. You are definitely blocking out all those angles and angels that are coming every day towards you. And yeah, that to me, that does not look like a future that I want to be a part of. So I have no idea where that's going to go, but um, that's just things that people have to do. And, putting those goggles on and going within is so much easier than actually doing the work and facing the person that is reflecting back in you at the mirror. It is very hard work to start looking at yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So hey, since we're still on this, and I know we have another video that you're going to show us. So when we know that salt is used as a preservative to save meat or food from spoiling. Well, remember Jesus came to save us. So so when we are not being the salt of the earth, then we are spoiling ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to save us so that we don't spoil. And so that's why it's important for us to follow Jesus's teachings. And what does he teach? He teaches meditation. He teaches living foods. He teaches us to care for the animals and things like that. And okay, so what else was I thinking? There was another one. Oh, how salt loses its flavor. And if we lose ours, then we have no benefits, because, Jesus calls us to heal the earth and to heal the world. And when salt loses its flavor, then we lose ours. That means that we're getting no benefit from the salt, which is actually within us. And so, that's when we get sick, when we die. So anyways, and then I was just thinking, salt could even be like, when it loses its flavors, that could be like similar to like the lies that we have been told, and that we choose to believe that. And so then it takes away the flavor of life, because we've been lied to. And that's why we have like depression and poverty and all the negative things. So anyways, I was looking at that from a different angle about like when salt loses its flavor. So anyways, yeah. I do. Sarah, are you still there?
Oop, I'm sorry. I was talking and I was muted.
Oh, okay.
I said it looks like Colleen just joined us as well too. Hello, Colleen.
Hello, my beautiful people. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can. Oh my gosh. Hi, Colleen. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. I was just on with Spill the Juice and the groups there. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, I think Katie and they're doing it now. So I'll have to mute, but I love you.
No problem. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so what I was going to say too while you were talking we didn't actually mention this in the beginning, but this is from Matthew chapter 5. And they talk about the salt of the earth in chapter 5, verse 13, ye are the salt of the earth. And my notes that I have in my Bible here are just, I think it's word for word what Jesus said with the video that we just watched. So again, like what I discussed in last week when we were talking about the Lord's Prayer, just how important that Charlie says that the book of Matthew